afternoon, students. Now in this class I will discuss about the physical quantity and how many types of physical quantity are there. So we know that for any physical quantity we can measure which type of quantity is called physical quantity, and when we express any physical quantity, then we express this physical quantity in terms of a numerical value and as well as unit. We already know about it. We already know about the types of unit like CGS unit, FPS unit, MKS unit, and also SI unit. Now today I will discuss about how many types of physical quantity are there. Now for first physical quantity, we have to tell you that if we divide the physical quantity into subparts, then we know that the physical quantity may be divided into three parts. First one is fundamental quantity, how many fundamental quantity are there in our world? There are 7 fundamental quantity. And second one is derived quantity. How many derived quantity are there? There are infinity number of derived quantity. That means we cannot count how much or how many derived quantity are there. We calculate it. We derive any physical quantity using fundamental quantity. And there are another types of physical quantity. This is supplementary quantity. Supplementary quantity. And we have total 2 supplementary quantity. Okay, now for fundamental quantity, which are the 7 fundamental quantity? One is length, second mass, third one is time, fourth one is temperature, fifth one is electric current, sixth one is luminous intensity, and last one is amount of substance. Amount of substance. Now if I talk about the units of this fundamental quantity, these 7 fundamental quantity, so the unit, SI unit of length is meter, SI unit of mass is kilogram, SI unit of time is second, SI unit of temperature is Kelvin, SI unit of electric current is ampere, SI unit of luminous intensity is candela, and SI unit of amount of substance is mole. We can write it. Okay. So SI length is meter, SI unit of mass kilogram, SI unit of time is second, SI unit of temperature is Kelvin, SI unit of electric current is ampere, and SI unit of luminous intensity is candela, and amount of substance is mole. You can write it. Okay. Now derived unit. Which are the derived unit? The units or the quantity which we can derive using the fundamental quantity. That means when we find the area, then we multiply the length with breadth. So length is a kind of a fundamental quantity. Similarly, breadth is a kind of length. So this is also a fundamental quantity. So for 2 times multiplying the length, the fundamental quantity, we get the value of area. So area is derived using 2 times of the fundamental quantity of length. So area is a kind of derived quantity. Similarly, volume is also the derived quantity. Density is also the derived quantity. Speed or velocity is also derived quantity, and acceleration is also derived quantity, and force is also the derived quantity, and work done or work is also derived quantity. Energy is also derived quantity. Power is also derived quantity. Momentum is also derived quantity. There have much number of derived quantity. So, and supplementary quantity. What is the supplementary quantity? There are 2 quantity which we do not use so much, but they are kind of a fundamental type of quantity, and these 2 quantity is said that supplementary quantity. Which these 2 supplementary quantity are, one is angle and another is solid angle. That means for angle we can say that this is plane angle, and for another thing we can say that this is solid angle. And one physics supplementary quantity is plane angle, and second one is solid angle. So for plane angle we use the SI unit of plane angle as radian, and for solid angle we use steradian unit. Steradian is written as SR and radian is written as RAD. Now another thing, we have to know the SI system. How we use the SI system, SI unit system, and what are the advantage of using the SI unit system. First of all, when we use the SI unit system, then the advantage of SI unit system is it has 7 fundamental units and 2 supplementary units which we basically use, and using this unit we have much more number of derived units. Similarly, when we use the SI unit system, there have a rotational system. That means one type of quantity must have 1 unit. So for that system, because before that every country uses different type of units, like Britishers uses FPS unit. They measure the length using the foot unit. They measure the mass using pound unit. They measure the time using second unit. Measure the temperature using degree Fahrenheit unit. Similarly, some country uses CGS system, like France and all other countries. They measure the length using centimeter unit. They measure the mass using gram unit. They measure the temperature using degree centigrade unit. Now, and some another country uses MKS unit, like length as meter, mass measured by kilogram, and temperature also measured by Kelvin unit. Now what happened, if they discussed for anything, or if any formula is calculated by any scientist of any country and it is go to the other country in this theory, then other scientists do not understand which kind of unit is used by that scientist, and for the commercial purpose also there have some problem. So after that, forming an authority, which is General Conference on Weights and Measure, and forming an authority like International Bureau of Weights and Measure, which is headquartered in France. They formed using getting to all scientists, and then they told that there must be have only one unit in all our world. So for one type of quantity we must use one unit. So SI system comes in our hand. So what is SI system? Standard the international system. Standard of international system. Okay. And for SI system there have also some when we derived some units, like for derived quantity there have multiplication and division factors, so we can easily calculate any derived units also. Okay, do you understand it? Now another thing, we have to know about the definition of the SI unit of the fundamental quantity, like length, mass, and time per second, temperature for Kelvin, electric current for ampere, and luminous intensity for candela, amount of substance as mole. We have to define these units. So what is the definition of length? Definition of length may be like that. For 1 meter, we can define 1 meter like that. 1 meter of length is equal to the light traveled in vacuum space for an interval of 1/3 into 10 to the power 8 second is called 1 meter. That means we can define it. For mass, it is the mass of a prototype of a kilogram platinum iridium cylinder kept in that International Bureau of Weights and Measures headquarters. This is the mass of 1 kilogram. And another definition also you can use for mass, that means 1 kilogram, like that. The 1/12th mass of an atom of carbon 12 isotope is 1 AMU, that means atomic mass unit. When we multiply this value with 1 divided by 1.66 into 10 to the power 27 kg, then we get the mass of 1 kg. Do you understand it? Otherwise I will explain it in copy. Like that, we know that the mass of a proton is like that, 1.66 into 10 to the power minus 27 kg, and we can define this as 1/12th part of the mass of an atom of carbon 12 isotope. This is the mass of 1/12th part of carbon, part of the mass of carbon 12 isotope. Understand? So for carbon 12 isotope mass is this. So when we find the definition of 1 kilogram, so we can conclude it, the 1/12th part of the mass of an carbon isotope is this kg. So 1 kg is equal to 1 divided by 1.66 into 10 to the power minus 27 number of into 1/12 part of the mass of carbon 12 isotope. So we can calculate it easily. That is the mass of 1 kg. That is means this number of carbon 12 isotope mass is 1 kg. Similarly, we can define the unit of time, that means second, like that. It is the duration of 9, 192, 631, 770 periods of radiation correspond to the transition between two hyperfine levels ground state of the cesium-133 atom. When this also be defined like that, for every electron which revolves around the atom, they radiate some energy, and this through electromagnetic wave, and they have some time periods. So if the duration of the time period is 9 times or 192 times or 631 times, and the 770 periods of radiation corresponding to the transition between two hyperfine levels of the ground state of the cesium-133 atom. So if we take cesium-133 atom, and the electron from the ground state of cesium-133 atom radiates which type of electromagnetic wave, their time period is calculated by 1 second. Understand? I will send you the this theory part, that means study material also. And what is the definition of electric current? The definition of electric current is current which, when maintained two parallel and straight conductor of infinitely length and negligible cross-section area placed in vacuum at a distance of 1 meter apart, would produce a force of 2 into 10 to the power minus 7 Newton per meter length between the conductor. That means when we find the definition of electric current, we conclude it like that. If we take a length of 1 meter length of a conducting material and another conducting material of 1 meter length, and these two conductor is separated with a distance of 1 meter, and flow current through it, both same current flow through it, then if this conductor applies some forces towards this conductor and this conductor applies some forces towards this conductor, this is distance between them and this is the apply some forces. Okay, so these forces must be equal to 2 into 10 to the power minus 7 Newton. Then if this, for flowing some current, if we take x value of current through it and similarly x value of current through itself,